So let's get started. The purpose of this exercise is to explain how we could automate the process of exporting some of the metadata that the Pubmed database provides into a spreadsheet. So we assume that we already have a bunch of papers that we have found in the Pubmed using our search strategy. And so the first thing we want to do, we want to get the Pubmed IDs. And to do that, we go ahead and click on the Save button here. And in the selection section, we select all results instead of all results on this page. So select this one. And then because we're only interested in the Pubmed ID, we select in the format section, we select PMID. You could also select CSV, and it also gives you like a table that you could, like a CSV table that you could import into Excel files, but it won't contain the mesh files. It would only contain like information that you see on this page. But we're interested in exporting the mesh files as well. So okay, so select create file, and then it's going to create a text file for us, which contains the Pubmed ID of all the papers that we have found through our search strategy. So we go ahead and select all here. We copy it, and then we need to use a web page that queries the Pubmed database and creates an Excel file. So here I'm using Pubmed to Excel. This is going to go and query and crawl through the Pubmed database and create an Excel file. It's going to take a while, a couple of seconds, because it's about 2,232 papers that we've selected. So we just have to wait a bit until the Excel sheet is created. So here it is. Now, the way I'm going to use this is through Google Spreadsheet. So I'll just copy it here. And then if you click on it, Google is going to open this with Google Sheets. And here we are. So here you have all kinds of information. You have the Pubmed ID here, and then you also have the mesh terms. So what we like to do, so here all the mesh terms have been kind of clumped together into one cell. What we like to do, we like to kind of separate them into multiple cells. So we would like the first 9 mesh terms to be one in each cell, and then we would like to kind of concatenate or clump the remaining ones all together in one cell. So we need to separate them. And what we can do here is that, so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to copy all the mesh terms here. I'm going to create a new page, and then I'm going to paste it, right? And so let me just delete this row. And here, so this is all one cell. What I need to do, let me just show you. There you go. So, right. So as you see, this is all one cell. Now, if you pay attention, you'll see that all the mesh terms have been separated by this 2 straight lines here. So what we can do is that we could use the Excel split text to columns, and then in the separator section we choose custom, and then we choose this separator that Pubmed actually, that website actually used to separate the mesh terms. So here you'll see that what happened is that Excel, Google Sheets has separated every mesh term into a single column. So, but what we were interested in is to have the first 9 separated and the remaining would be all clumped together. So we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then here this is going to be we're going to have the remaining ones fall here. So what I'm going to do now is that what I like to do is to create a column left to this, right? And then I just have to concatenate every, or like join text, every text to the right onto this, separated by that same 2 straight lines, right? So to do this, I'm going to use a spreadsheet formula, or like a code. I think it's called text join, right? So here so I use text join, right? And it also shows like a way I could use it. So I need to put the delimiter into 2 quotation marks. And then, so this one, I'm going to put this as true. And what this does is that it's only going to do this operation on non-empty cells, and it's just going to ignore the empty ones. And we want to essentially join together all the cells to the right of this column. So we're going to start from K1 to and all the way to AF. Okay, AF1, right? So there you go. So you see that this is selected. All of the mesh terms have been concatenated here. Now, Google Sheets is going to suggest to autofill the remaining rows of that column with the same operation. You could go ahead and check this to do that autofill, but if somehow it doesn't do it for you, what you can do, so one way that you could do this repeat operation is to just drag this plus sign all the way to the bottom of the Excel sheet. Right, it's going to take a second. Right, I didn't have to do this, but I just did it so I could show you. Now, here, so this column here contains actually the formula, right? So if I delete any of these cells here, then it's going to affect this column. So I think there could be a cleaner way, but what I do is I just create another column to the left, right? And then I copy the values here and paste in the special paste section. I paste only the values, right? And here you see that the values are pasted, not the formula itself. And then I can go ahead and delete, right, the columns. I could even do like delete columns. There you go. Now this is exactly what we wanted. I could copy this, and then I could go here in my there and then paste it. There you go. Okay. Now what there are bunch of other stuff I could use from my original Excel sheet, the one that Pubmed to Excel created. For example, I can copy the Pubmed ID. I could right. So yep, here I could copy this one. I can also copy the article title. I can copy the date. See, so this is the title. Right. The journal name is also there. So a bunch of other stuff that I can use. So that being said, not every item, the chances are that not every information that you want are there, but you could also find the grant using this, the grant number, if that's something that you are interested in. That could be something that you can use. But yeah, you could just take a look at it. And then, so the caveat of using this approach is that Pubmed to Excel is going to concatenate, is going to essentially give you the parent mesh file and then followed by all the children. So what I mean by this is that if you look at one of these examples, maybe not this one, right, so if you take a look at this one, so the Pubmed ID here, right, so if I select this Pubmed ID, then you'll see that spinal cord disease has many mesh term, has many children, which here are separated into like 1, 2, 3, 3 separate mesh terms. And in the using Pubmed to Excel, it's going to give us actually one mesh term for all of them, all of those 3. See? So it's actually here under the hand. You see that it has 2 children, and all of them have been collapsed into one mesh term. Also here as well, this mesh term actually in the Pubmed page is 2 mesh terms. So yeah, if that's something that you really need, having them separate into 2 mesh terms, then there are ways, just some lines of coding with Python or some other coding language that you could easily separate them. Yeah.